In this video, I actually want to discuss why big box facilities cannot compete with residential assisted living homes. So if you guys are interested, make sure to stick around. What's up, everyone? I hope you guys are all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Serge. Welcome to the channel. To all my reoccurring viewers, guys, thank you so much for all the love and support that you guys have shown this channel. And guys, if you haven't yet, go ahead, make sure to go check out the academy that I've created because I do get a lot of questions and emails regarding all different types of things, and that is exactly why I created the academy. I will try to answer all these questions that you guys send in, which I do greatly appreciate, and I'm very grateful that I'm able to actually have this platform and for you guys. And guys, if you've been trying to get into the Facebook group, I've mentioned it in probably the last couple videos that I'm no longer accepting anyone into the Facebook group, so I genuinely apologize for that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the topic of this video. Now, big box facilities are something that you see going up quite a bit right now. I've actually just driving, oftentimes see them going up, being created. Their long-term goal with these big box facilities, once the tsunami of baby boomers and this whole senior living and housing, kind of slows down and, it isn't such a big trend and it isn't such a big tsunami, they're going to eventually probably turn them into apartments, and they're going to be able to take care of the fact that, we created all these big box facilities, we'll just turn them into apartments. That's most likely what they're going to end up doing. And if you do start a residential assisted living home, and let's just say it does slow down, you're not filling your beds as much, the demand is not there as much, hypothetically speaking, at that point you can actually just do Airbnb, you could do long-term rentals, whatever the case may be, but the demand is always going to be there. People are always going to need this service. And to be honest, in my perspective, it's only getting started for everyone that's pulling out right now and that's selling their businesses, whether they're retiring or whatever the case may be, they're pulling out a little too early, I would say. For, the next 10, 15 years, 20 years, it's going to be in high demand and it's going to be beneficial for anyone who's in the industry. So for everybody that's in there and is contemplating getting out, maybe just rethink that for a minute, let that kind of sink in and just do more of your research into this industry, and hopefully it convinces you to stay in and not sell the business. But with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about a couple key points of why big box facilities can't really compete with residential assisted living homes. And so the first thing is the caregivers. Okay, the caregivers, oftentimes the ratio for a residential assisted living home is 10 residents to 2 caregivers. Okay, that's usually what the ratio is. So therefore, the caregivers aren't getting burnt out as much, and they're actually able to, attend to the residents and give them the attention and care that they need. Whereas in a big box facility, you'll probably have 20 residents to 1 caregiver. Okay, that ratio is absurd, and that caregiver is most likely going to be running around. By the end of their shift, they're going to just be exhausted. That goes for nursing homes too. I'm not just talking about independent living or assisted living like big box facilities. I'm talking about nursing homes as well. When I worked in a nursing home, that's what it was like for me. I was actually taking care of 15 residents, pretty much taking a whole hallway to myself. And their level of care, it varied so much. You had different residents. You would always do the harder ones first and the easier ones last. That's just how they structured it in nursing homes, and most likely that's how they're going to structure it in big box facilities. The next difference between the big box facilities and residential assisted living homes is actually the cost. The cost is something that you guys need to take in consideration because big box facilities, the way they actually charge their residents and people that are living in their big box facilities is based off an a la carte style, right? They'll have their base of what the room would cost, and then the family is, they end up with a bill at the end of the month with all these different charges, all these different things that they did for the resident, apparently, and it could cost, way higher. It could cost anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000, and that's usually what the cost of these big box facilities are, with all their activities that they provide, with all the different things that they provide, which is a pro for the big box facilities. They're able to schedule all these different things because they have such a variety of residents. You'll have a lot more residents able to, if they want to knit, if they want to play cards, you'll have different types of residents who want to do this type of stuff, and they're able to because there's a lot more residents to do that kind of stuff with. Whereas in a small, residential assisted living home, you'll most likely have residents who just want to sit around and watch TV, and you might have residents who do absolutely nothing. So the one resident who, is able to actually ambulate and is alert and oriented and wanting to play cards or knit or whatever the case may be, they won't be able to unless they do it with the caregivers and their family. So that's kind of one of the downsides to residential assisted living homes and kind of the pro for the big box facilities. But with that being said, you could also always have, residents that come in, and specifically you just admit those types of residents if it comes down to that. But for the most part, the cost of it is what really gets a lot of family members, right? The cost of doing a residential assisted living home, what I see and what I do is normally just you charge a flat fee every month for the level of care of the resident and also the type of room that they'll be staying in. So with big box facilities, though, that's not the case. They're not going to be charging you just based off of the level of care or what room they're going to be getting. They're going to be charging a lot more. And I've gotten that question a lot. Should you do an a la carte type of style? Yes, if you're a big box facility, it makes more sense to do that because you'll be able to provide a lot more different services and a lot more different things compared to a residential assisted living home. So if you're thinking of going down the a la carte style of charging for every little thing, for every extra thing, you may want to reconsider that because families actually may not place due to the fact that they may never know what the bill at the end of the month may be. And on top of that, you may not actually even get your money as a residential assisted living care home owner, right? You may not even be able to get the families to pay up sometimes when it comes to the a la carte style. They're going to want to know everything that they're getting charged for, proof of it, receipts, etc. So just be careful if you decide to go down the a la carte style. And then you got the location of the facilities, okay? Residential assisted living homes are obviously residential, so they're going to be in a neighborhood. They're going to be a lot more quiet. It's going to feel a lot more comfortable. It's going to feel a lot more homey. Whereas if you go with the big box facility, they're commercial properties, and so they're going to be around a lot more busier areas. It's going to feel a lot more institutional, whereas a residential assisted living home feels like a home. And families love that. Residents love that because they do feel like they're at home and not just boxed up in a big box facility. So with that being said, those are the three main things that you guys should get out of this video. Comparing big box facilities to residential assisted living homes is the caregiver ratio to residents, and then also the cost of big box facilities compared to residential assisted living homes, and then also the location. The first two things were what families were actually moving their loved one into my home for because of the caregiver ratio and also because of the cost. They realized that my caregivers are able to attend to them, be able to give them proper care and attention compared to the big box facility. And so the cost of, having a residential assisted living home and putting your loved one into a residential assisted living home compared to a big box facility is night and day. I mean, you're not gonna beat a residential assisted living home who's charging $3,500 every single month for a private room and pretty much offering similar services compared to big box facilities. And another thing that I've noticed, there's a lot more big box facilities that are incorporating assisted living and memory care into their facilities, and they're opening up different wings of that. Where they, if a resident is independent living, but then they decline to the point where they do need assisted living, they'll move them into that wing for a whole separate charge. It's probably going to be more expensive because they're going to require a lot more care. And then when families realize that, they're like, well, we can't afford that anymore. So they end up usually moving them into a residential assisted living home instead of keeping them at that big box facility, even though they have an assisted living wing or a memory care wing that they're able to move that loved one into. So guys, with that being said, these big box facilities, they don't understand that what we are able to do as residential assisted living homes is way more affordable. We're providing very similar services, if not more, because I feel like with residential assisted living homes, we're actually licensed, for the most part, directed or, the highest level of care. So we're able to provide, even if the resident declines, it's not like you're charging a lot more, maybe $500 more a month or whatever the case may be. And you can do that. You just have to make sure you give the family a 30-day notice that you're going to be increasing the monthly charge due to the fact that the resident requires more level of care. But guys, understand that big box facilities shouldn't be that big of a concern. I would keep it in the back of your mind, but just know that they can't really compete with us because we do offer such similar services for such cheaper prices, and our caregiver to resident ratio is way better than theirs. So with that being said, guys, if you guys found this video very valuable, make sure smash that like button for me. Also, if you haven't, smash that subscribe button for me. And guys, go watch all these other videos for me. And until next time, God bless and peace.